And welcome back to EarthChangers. Joining me on this part of the show is Zaina Greene. Zaina is the Executive Director for SWITCH Upstate's Human Trafficking Task Force. Actually, she's the co-chair. Now, can you tell us, Zaina, what exactly is SWITCH? Because frankly, I hadn't heard about this up until about a month ago. Please tell everyone, what is SWITCH?
Sure. SWITCH is a nonprofit 501c3 organization here in the upstate of South Carolina, and we are fighting human sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. And we do that through several programs throughout the community. Okay.
And is it a huge problem in the upstate?
Unfortunately, yes. It's a great problem, and unfortunately, it's a growing problem.
And unfortunately, it's kind of an invisible one. It stays out of our awareness because people are trying actively not to get caught. The people who are trafficking these victims work to stay out of sight. Now,
yes, definitely. And then I think, too, just being educated on it, the more we know what to look for, I think the more likely that we'll start to see it.
Okay, and I saw on your website that you have sort of 5 different branches to your campaign. You start by building awareness. How can people, I'm sure this is something that, boy, there's a lot of learning to be done about it, but just in common, how can somebody be on the lookout for human trafficking in the community?
I think it really just is something that you have to kind of pay attention to dynamics. If you see someone or something that's going on that's not normal or uncomfortable, even if you don't know it's exactly human trafficking, but it looks like something that is not normal, it's good to still, make a phone call and report it. But a lot of times what we see, especially with young people, is dynamics and relationships that seem unhealthy, whether it be, a young girl with a best friend who's also a female that may be recruiting her into this life, or a boyfriend who may be recruiting them into the life, or even a son, a boy that could be looking, getting involved with the wrong people, or maybe even becoming more vulnerable through the process of somebody grooming them. A lot of activity on social media, things within schools, even in our churches, this can happen, where people who are just looking for attention or looking for someone to give them affection or needing to survive financially can fall into this. We see it in the sex industry. We see it really just anywhere. It can happen where people are falling into this lifestyle.
Okay, and then you work with prevention. Do you go to schools and do presentations on this?
Yes, we do. We go to schools and we go to church youth groups and speak to young individuals. Really, the average age of entry is anywhere between 11 and 16 years old. So we're always trying to target that younger, early middle school type age, all the way into college age as a prevention time, because that is the most common time we see individuals become vulnerable to this.
11 to 16, that's genuinely shocking. That's very sobering. And if somebody thinks that one of their friends is being pulled into this, or they're worried their child is, what can they do about it?
Well, if it's just more of a, is this what it looks like? Of course, we're happy to help wherever we can. But the best thing to do if you see something is to call local law enforcement or the human trafficking hotline and report what you're seeing. So obviously, if you're with someone who's in distress and they need something immediately, we have a local hotline here with SWITCH, and that's 1-888-773-4216. But that's only for emergency situations that are local. But if you see something like, maybe you see a fake massage parlor, or you see a business that you think is acting unusual, that could have some trafficking happening within their business, it's better to call the National Human Trafficking Line, which is 1-888-373-7888.
7888. Okay. So these are good things to have on hand, good things to know.
Yeah.
Now, you don't just try to prevent people from getting into the business. And for most of these people, it's not a business. They're the product. They're the ones being sold. So you also do intervention. So how does that work? How do you intervene with people in the community?
Yeah, we have a team of trained volunteers that are here in the Upstate who basically go places where we know people are vulnerable and can be involved in this life, and we just build rapport and we become a safe place for them, so that if ever they're in a situation, they know that they can call us and they know that we're there. And so that's something that we've been doing for the last 5 years and have found it to be very successful.
Okay, how can you build a rapport with someone in that industry? Seriously, I'm just very curious.
Yeah. So,
it seems like it would be difficult.
Sure. If it's a place that people are regularly at, where we can see those same individuals on a regular basis and just become their friends and just get to know them, that's a lot of times how that starts, because then they realize for once that somebody is interested in more than what they can offer, and that we just care about them. And at first, it's hard for them to trust that, but after some time and seeing that we're consistently there for them, that is where that kind of starts. So it definitely takes time. It's not something that, is done quickly. It's definitely something that we spend a lot of time and energy preparing volunteers for and making sure that we're a consistent, safe place in their life.
Okay, and then besides the supply, there's also the demand. And you guys even work from that angle, how to reduce demand for this sort of service. And how do you approach that?
Well, sex trafficking and sexual exploitation is a supply and demand industry. If people weren't buying these services, we wouldn't be seeing such an increase here in the Upstate of this. And so what we do with we have men that get involved and volunteer with us, and their main objective is how can we combat human trafficking and how can we change our culture here in the Upstate to no longer look at pornography and strip clubs and the sex industry as something that people choose to do. But that these are actually people who can be victimized. And if, these men are struggling, like if men in our community are struggling with addiction, we want to help them break that cycle. We want to help them break free from that, and then learn and be educated that this is not some choice lifestyle, that these girls that they're seeing in these ads are not, always doing this willingly and choosing such a life, but that it actually, that money that they're putting into that, whether it's free pornography or it's purchased pornography, somebody's paying for that, and that is increasing this industry.
Yeah. Now, do you think with the atmosphere we have right now in the world, with suddenly there's this increased awareness of harassment, of predatory behavior, is this helping your cause at all? Is this helping make people a little more aware of these things? Or is that sort of tangential?
Unfortunately, I haven't seen. Yeah, I haven't really seen any correlation with that yet. I mean, definitely I think that people who have been victimized have maybe felt a little safer coming out. But typically when we see that, it is more of the sexual abuse and sexual harassment cases versus sex trafficking and things like that. Unfortunately, our society, it's hard for someone who may be a dancer in a club to feel like they can just come out and say, hey, I was taken advantage of, because people unfortunately judge falsely on girls that are in the club and assume that, oh, well, you just chose that and that's what you do. And really, we've not made it a safe place for them to seek help. Right.
And so the word that's believed least of all is that of the people being victimized the most.
Exactly.
Crazy. And then once have you managed to get many people out of that lifestyle?
Absolutely. I think we've helped maybe 60, we're at 65 or 66 individuals that we've helped out of the life so far. And we have worked with over 700 women in the industry. So hopefully some more. What we're seeing now is that law enforcement is starting to do more investigations. So our numbers are increasing greatly. The more that they are looking at these issues and calling us for assistance.
Wow. That's fantastic. So you do help people, not just to break free, but you help them get their lives back in order?
Yes, absolutely. We have 2 case managers on staff, and they provide holistic case management for these individuals. And we kind of just assess, what their needs are and what they're ready to do, and kind of figure out a plan, help them meet goals and things to help them be able to reintegrate into society without having to live that lifestyle anymore.
That's fantastic. That's very touching, and that is some really difficult work right there. That's thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
just sort of astounding. But the thing is, and while you have so many volunteers and your hearts are all in this is not a cheap thing to do. This is not easy.
No.
You do need some funds from time to time. How do
yeah, time to time.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, so how can people help if this is touching somebody and they're going, I want to do something about this? How can they help?
Yeah. Yes, they can go to our website, which is www.switch, SWITCH, sc.org. That's switchsc.org. And there's a tab that says Take Action.
Okay.
And there you'll see a place where you can donate, you can get involved, you can request a speaker. I mean, we definitely are in need of funds as we continue to grow and help and support more law enforcement throughout the communities here in the Upstate. But if you can't do anything funding-wise, you can also get involved with volunteering with us or even requesting someone to come speak at your organization.
And I know at this hour when we normally air, there's all sorts of people getting up, getting ready for church. So if they want to pass this along to their pastors or their church councils, how can they get in touch with you?
Yes, we would love for that to be the case. We love to work with local churches. So if they are interested in getting their church involved and becoming a church partner, all they have to do is email us, and we can talk directly to the pastor. We can come to their staff meeting. We can sit down and talk. We can meet with their church. We would love to have more church partners in this fight, as we have found that they have been such a great resource and support to us as we do this. So if they're interested in doing that, they could just email us at info@switchsc.org, or they can call us at 864-350-0281.
Okay, and there's a lot of good information in this. If you didn't get it all, we'll repeat some of this more right before the end, but also you'll be able to hear it online. I do post these on YouTube and on Facebook under the EarthChangers Facebook page, so you can come and get all this information again later. But this is really good information, things that people need to know and be aware of. It's the invisible problem that's destroying young lives. And
yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you don't drive down the street and see girls hanging out on the corner, but they're there. They're there. They're in hotel rooms.
A lot of it's online now.
Yes, that's the terrifying thing. That's the really terrifying thing. A lot of it. That it can just be conducted like that, and it makes it even harder to detect, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, again, thank you for the work you do. We've been speaking with Zaina Greene. Now, once again, if you're looking for more information, you can go to www.switchsc.org. If you have a situation, the local hotline, a situation, someone who's vulnerable, someone who's having a problem, the local hotline is 888-773-4216. The national hotline for a bigger problem, something you really want some big law enforcement involved in, 888-373-7888. And Zaina, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're incredibly busy, but thank you for carving out this time to talk with us this morning.
Thank you so much for bringing light to the subject.
And I hope this holiday season brings a few more kids home.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for joining us on this Thanksgiving weekend. Now get out there, be an earth changer, and have a fantastic week.
If you have an event or topic of interest for Earth Changers, contact Amy Hyder. Amy at earthfmwrth.com.